Turn 1 Emry. Play Aether Gust instead of Inscription. I don't really like Aether Gust in decks without Snapcaster Mage. It's fine. It's not bad, but it's feels like worse than like more focused hate cards. Just Aether Gust was so good with Mystic Sanctuary, and now it's like much worse. Some land destruction on the side. Well, we have Damping Sphere in the side against land-based decks. Damping Sphere good against Amulet, Titan, and Tron. Yeah, part of Inscription is just seeing if it's like good in the matchup. That's true. Build over an Urza and a cabin, so we only have access to 2 cabins this game. Bant Eldrazi! Oh boy, that's exciting. So exciting to me. Skyclave Apparition on top. Boy, does Skyclave seem very ambitious for my opponent. And if we just get smashed here, it's pretty scary. Bantel draws you. I mean, they did build a 5, but double Temple, always scary. Yeah, Skyclave seems really hard to cast in their deck. Well, if they don't have anything beyond the Smasher, we can maybe win. Dead. Wow. Well, I guess we go to 1, but then we're dead. I feel like the fight mode on this isn't that bad in this matchup. Probably want these blasts. Explosive seems not that good. Maybe I'll play 1. I'll play 1. I mean, Bantel draws you most of 5 really well. Yeah, I remember playing blue-green Eldrazi with Oko and Once Upon a Time, and that deck was actually pretty good. I remember playing it in paper. We can keep this hand. Sirens, don't worry about the Siren. They play on the first Wednesday every month. Here. Enduring Ideal. Oh no. Oh no. We can draw Gingerbread Cabin. I think I'm just happy enough with the land. Well, I wonder if you're sending this to me because I've been kind of vocal about my dislike for Gingerbread Cabin. Or sorry, for Enduring Ideal. Like, in my opinion, Enduring Ideal has no good matchups. I'm not sure how, if adding Seasoned Pyromancer, Skyclave, and Wildfire Flagstones changes that. Also, like, having to play 2 copies of Form of the Dragon because it's so bad if you draw your 1 copy also feels terrible. I'll also say that 22 lands feels a bit low when your plan is to resolve a 7-mana spell. I know that you have Lotus Bloom too, but you probably need 23. I guess I wish this was Lightning Bolt right now. I'll play Tracker. No Skyclave, please. Honestly, if they go Thought-Knot Seer here, it's kind of great for us. I guess those are my thoughts. Like, I don't think I really changed too much about this deck. So this was bad. I don't think I changed too much about this deck beyond what I've just said, but I just don't like the archetype. I'm sorry if it's anybody's pet deck. So I don't have another Stomping Ground here. So I think I'm just playing Urza this turn, and if my opponent doesn't have another Skyclave, it's pretty good for us. I guess they can Skyclave my... They can flicker here. But then we get to play Tracker into Blast and get a clue token. Should I be playing 2 Stomping Grounds? I'm not sure. Clock 10 months, hope you're having a good day today. Appreciate ya. Skyclave Apparition seems really hard for them to cast. Maybe I'm wrong about that, though. Oh. So yeah, Thought Seer is not so bad for us, right? I mean, they take my Tracker, which does stink. But I can blast the Displacer, then blast the Thought Seer the following turn. Yeah, this is not so bad, I think. Path, Thought Seer into Path is... like, unbeatable. Is Bantel Drowsy good again? Seems like it might be, I don't know. I think I'm going to blast the Thought Seer. Hope to draw another Urza. I mean, that's not too bad either. Maybe they're just straight green-white, yeah. Although splashing blue is not that difficult. Yeah, maybe Bantel Drowsy is an okay deck. I don't know. Just don't know. I don't have a promo link, no, but I would recommend Mana Traders, I guess. That's what I use. I can't sack food because I need the Metalcraft to blast this. Guess they're going to flicker their Skyclave and exile my Emry. So if we draw Urza or Tireless Tracker, I think we're doing okay. Yeah, Emry doesn't cut it. Don't feel too bad losing to green-white Eldrazi. Cool deck. Which we didn't do, but I don't really feel bad about the line I took. Ooh! Haha! The Sideboard tech. Inscription of Abundance. Probably nonsense. But I hope we get to do it this game. Do you play Giver of Runes in green-white Eldrazi? Maybe you should. I think I'm getting Triome here. Yeah, the encryption kills shadows. It's probably not very good, Canister, but we played against a bunch of shadow decks today. The card's just kind of been on my radar for a while. It also, you know, kills Scourges in theory, so just been like something I've been wanting to try out, and I had like a couple sideboard slots I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with. Also, thank you for the raid. I think it's probably good to play EE on 0, then play Emry with Rebuke up this turn. Milling 2 Urza is Wrenn and 6 Chromatic Star. Yeah, it kills shadows. I think it'll often kill Scourges, but you're right, it doesn't always kill Scourge. And, you know, it's also, like, you can bring it in against Burn, and it'll be a fine card, in theory. And, like, the fight mode is not irrelevant. It's probably, I don't, like, imagine that the card is great, but it seemed like a fun thing to try. But I think going forward, I'll be playing Engineered Explosives number 4 in the sideboard, and the 3rd Veil of Summer. Is what we were talking about earlier. Have Dismember? Bummer. Big Goif. You know, I was just supposed to play EE on 2 last turn. Definitely seemed like it would have lined up better against my opponent's play. Gonna sack the Bauble on my turn in case I draw Metallic Rebuke. When has it traverse the Uvenwald on top, which does allow them to traverse for a shadow, but they can't actually play the shadow unless they have one more land, which they didn't have in hand this last turn. So our construct's gonna be a 3/3, but it's probably just chumping this no matter what. Well, tough game, for sure. Kind of feel like they should get a fetch if they have another 1-mana play. You challenge me that Urza is medium right now. I've been liking this deck. I'm 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, 4-1 with like various like little tweaks along the way. Maybe into O2 drop, but I feel like this deck has felt strong, and Cabin has also felt really strong too. Squee, thank you for gifting a sub. Very nice of you. Appreciate that. It's like to get basic swamp, and they just have a shadow in their hand. Gonna give him 2. So I want the Veils and the Inscriptions. I kind of like the idea of not being on the Galvanic Blast kill them plan. I think I want to cut Mox Amber, 3rd Emry, and just end the blasts. Mox Amber is bad, maybe. I think the first Mox Amber, I think it's bad in this matchup. I think the first Mox Amber is okay to play. It works particularly well with Wrenn and Six. And I think the deck already wants to play 4 Wrenn. And so like the fact that Mox Amber allows you to play Urza on turn 3 sometimes makes it good enough to play the first copy. But maybe it's not worth playing. Hasn't felt bad today though. Goose loose. Gonna bauble myself here. You'd like to see more Emry? I think 3 Emry is plenty. Emry doesn't seem particularly well positioned to me, and for Emry to be better, you have to be playing more Mox Ambers, more 0-mana artifacts, and that just don't exist, you know? You feel like green is not the way with Urza? I hear ya. I think that's a valid criticism. Wrenn and Six. I think Tracker is currently the best card to pair with Urza though. There's another Urza on top. So keeping that on top plays well around land Thoughtseize, but not well around land Inquisition. I think I'm still gonna play around it. Yeah, honestly, Emry feels like one of the weakest cards to me. I'm not muted. Emry does feel. I agree that Emry is like maybe the weakest card in this deck, and that you could just not play it. But Cabin has felt really good. Tracker has felt really good. Wrenn and Six plays really well with Tracker and Mox Amber, and is just a great Magic card in general. Yeah, this line again played well around land Thoughtseize. I guess Thoughtseize just takes the Wrenn too. What am I saying? But we have a second Urza. Yeah, I don't know. Never mind. Maybe I should have shuffled. Okay, well, drawing the land is nice. Do I want to play out EE on 2, or do I want to make a food? I think I want to play EE on 2. So I think I'm just getting basic forest. This is like so good against a discard spell. I mean, making a food seems fine too, but this line is like really good against a discard spell and really good against them. Good against another Inquisition. Good against them playing 2-drop here. What's the record for today? We were 7-3 before this last round, so now 7-4. Do you think Smothering Tide could ever be modern playable? Probably not. That card's better when you have more than one opponent. I own 2. I opened 2 in packs when I played that limited GP, and the dealers wouldn't take it from me. They didn't want to buy it, and now they're like $30-$40. Maybe making the food would have been better this game. Yeah, if their threat's Death Shadow, this line's worse. If they have Death Shadow, 1-mana removal spell. But this line, again, was better against discard spell, especially Inquisition, and 2-mana threats. So, I don't know. They have more 2-mana threats than 1-mana threats. Something else to note. Yeah, my first draft of this was Sultai instead of Temur. I think Temur's better. But my first draft was Sultai. Urza with Cryptic Command up if the construct lives. Or if they don't kill it in response to the construct ETBing. We also have Inscription in our deck to kill Death Shadow. Yes! Alright. I mean, they probably have a Stubborn Denial, but this is at least cool. Thank you, Gingerbread Cabin. Very cool. So I'm probably just not blocking here. If they had Temur Battle Rage, we have Cryptic. And so we'll be dead to Temur Battle Rage plus Stubborn Denial. Or any counterspell, or Veil of Summer. And they don't have it. That was a really interesting game. We had a lot of different decision trees. I think I messed up by keeping the second Urza on top. I think playing out the E on 2 was fine. I'm not sure. It's also like a really interesting spot. Why return to hand? I mean, it's better to bounce the Shadow than to counter the Temur Battle Rage, right? Because we just take 0 instead of 8. Well, we drew Inscription of Abundance, so I keep. Again, they just replay it and block. I mean, I guess. I don't know. Taking 8 just doesn't sound too good. It's probably fine. They target themselves with the Bauble, which means that they do not have a non-fetch land in their hand. If they would have played the Bauble first. And I'm not that interested in letting my opponent play a Scourge on turn 2, so I think I'm just going to play this, even though we have the Inscription to kill it. If you counter and they don't have a creature to follow up, they're dead. I guess. Maybe that line was better. Not 100% sure. I'm definitely jamming Wrenn and Six. Obviously, this is so bad if they have a counter spell, but it dodges Dispute at least, and Drown. Does get stubbed. Well, they didn't have stub last game, so maybe it's too much to ask for them to not have it this game. Does Inscription kill Scourge if your life total is as low as your opponent's? So like here, if they play Scourge, it's going to be a 3/3 and it doesn't die unless I can shock and kill it. Probably better to play Star here, right? Hold Inscription up. Probably has Shadow in their hand. Maybe Tap Draw was better. Yeah, Tap Draw plays around Veil of Summers, but you know they also have to have the Temur Battle Rage too. So it's kind of an interesting spot. How does Inscription kill Scourge? I mean, if Inscription makes your opponent's life total go above 20, it kills Scourge. Well, the jig is up here. Yeah, there's a ton of really difficult decisions that game. Don't really feel like I played perfectly or anything. Especially because that Bauble decision was bad. I really just don't have very much experience with these Urza decks. Although I feel like as the days gone on, I've played a bit better each game. Kind of surprised they boarded in Surgical. I think I'm going to cycle the Star now. I kind of like if we cycle the Star now and we draw land Cryptic Command, we don't, like, you know, we can hold up Cryptic. Veil is interesting. Surgical is probably for the Thopter Sword combo I don't have. Good point, yeah. Is there any chance my opponent has a counterspell that counters Tracker? I guess they can have Drown in the Loch. Yeah, it's so bad for us if they have Drown in the Loch that I'll just like accept that I'm going to get one fewer food token than I would otherwise and play around it. Oh, sorry, treasure token. Tracker into Veil of Summer. Good turn. Notably, we can also gain life to kill Scourge. I guess we're actually one life short. They don't have... Oh, play a second Shadow. Please play a second Shadow. Please play a second Shadow. I've never wanted anything so bad in my whole life. Alright, I'm gonna not play around Dispute here. Alright, target player gains X life, or X is the greatest power among creatures they control. Target you. Inscription of Abundance? Winning the game? Amazing tech. Amazing tech. I don't know, it's probably bad, but fun at least. We don't have a second red, but I think I'm keeping... Or a single red, sorry. Put on some mold to 5. It's just really good if it draws a fetch. We have 3 looks. Mold to 4. This feels like Ugin's Nexus all over again. In what way? Oh, the inscriptions. Ah. Yeah. That deck was one of the sweetest brews I've ever made. It was just terrible, though. I prefaced at the very start of that stream, I said this deck is terrible, but it's too good to not play, or too cool to not play. But for those of you who don't know, the combo was Boggles. Oh, wow. Well, we're a main deck explosives deck, so I'm feeling pretty good. They're drawing a bubble next turn. And they drew a Spirit Dancer this turn. So the combo was Ugin's Nexus, which is a 5-mana artifact that when it goes to the graveyard, when you sacrifice it, you can exile it, and then you get to take an extra turn. And because Karn the Great Creator specifically says tutor up an artifact from exile, or your sideboard, you could tutor up your Ugin's Nexus after you sacrificed it, and just take a bunch of turns, and it was awesome. The deck was really, really cool. And not very good. I know this means we're not getting a land back with Wrenn and Six, but I think, have enough lands. This allows us to fetch a cottage next turn and have 4 mana up. Please kill my Wrenn. Thank you. Yeah, Jund turns. Yeah, we also played Fires of Invention in that deck to like make, casting Karn and your Nexus half as expensive. And then you also had Karn to tutor up Trading Post as a sack outlet, and you also played Vraska and Korvold as sack outlets. Might be able to race here. Obviously, we're mostly digging for explosives. We have Galvanic Blast. Hitting them for 5. We get to fetch for Cabin again next turn. Yeah, the John Deterns deck was a Pioneer deck, yes. I did like briefly entertain the idea of trying it in Modern and didn't think there was anything to it. I think they're dead. I haven't counted yet, but I think the Blast makes it lethal. Cabin. Oh, whoops. Yeah, Blast is exactly lethal. I didn't mean to go to combat just then. We 4-1 the last league. Another matchup where the 4th explosives would be good to have in the side. Guess I'll just leave in 2 Blast for Spirit Dancer, just not sideboard. Can you post your shelf the bug version? If you go on my Twitter, I posted it there. If you go to like the tweets and replies section, you can find it. The black splash was much lighter than the red splash. I can keep this, I think. I know we don't have explosives in the hand, but turn 3 Urza seems fine. Get to look at cards with Bauble. Aha! Engineered Explosives entered the chat. Well, I might have the bird sacrifice itself next turn. We'll see. Emry plus explosives is basically game over, right? Have I done any brewing with Temur coding in Modern? A little bit. Yeah, I've done some. I don't really know how I feel about those decks, I guess. I think there's some potential, though. I think my main tech was I was playing Narset because it digs for coding, and then you're already playing Karn, so you can get Teferi's Puzzle Box to combo with Narset. That was like really the only innovation I remember having for that archetype. Mana base is so painful for this deck, though. But they can't beat Emry explosives unless they have Path. Kind of weird for me to queue against Boggles and feel like I have a good matchup. Seems it's too much asking to get 2 lands. GG Shuffler. Should I tell my opponent about the mulligan button? They might not know where it is. Perfect mana base. Keeping this hand, though. I'm gonna fetch a Triome on turn 1, so I think I'm putting back Stomping Ground. And then I'll Bauble myself on turn 1 to see if I want to fetch the Triome now or after I draw the card. Yeah, there's a Misty on top, which I don't want to draw. Other lands. Well, the burn matchup is not something I've played yet. It's probably pretty interesting because we have all these witches' cottages. But we do have a poor hand, so we'll just see how it goes, of course. The Shuffler gave my opponent 2 lands this time. They probably should just ignore Wrenn and Six. They agree. I'm gonna play out the tracker, a very, very sad Tireless Tracker. We do have the inscriptions, which also have the words gain life on them, so they are probably good to bring in. They suspend a Rift Bolt. Well, we can start the cabining. Oh my gosh, what is this? We bowled the 6 this game, keeping definitely a land heavy hand, but we've only drawn 1 spell in mini draws. Maybe I'm not even supposed to show them the cabin. Yeah, GG Shuffler, GG. Just kidding. Definitely wish I had the 4th cabin in my deck about now. Opponent decides to cast the Boros Charm. Good play. I think Explosives is not that good against Burn. I'll play like 1 copy. We can maybe cut 4th Wrenn and Six too. I think again, so we're playing 22 lands for Wrenn and Six. I know we just got pretty flooded, but Wrenn and Six is like a very important part of this deck just to hit lands. You probably have a fine matchup with the Geese and the Cabins and the Inscriptions. Yeah, someone suggested Zurin Orb, which is not modern legal, but would be a really interesting option if it were. Yeah, Zurin Orb would be kind of cool for Modern Horizons too. Should try to Tabernacle in this deck. Zurin Orb would make Burn so sad against Titan decks. I don't know how good Zurin Orb would be. Zurin Orb Flagstones is a combo though. Oh boy. I don't know. I'm not sure how good Orb would be. I didn't really play with it back then. You can turn a board with Tulare West. That's interesting. Overgrown Estate, sack a land, gain 3 life for Abzan. It's interesting. This hand is bad, but I think we keep on 6. I think we put back the Rebuke. Maybe better to put back the Cryptic. Down to 12. GG Shuffler. Is this new copy pasta? Goose is kind of good, right? I think we're playing Goose over Tracker here. Maybe I was supposed to sack my food immediately though. Probably was. But we can block, and then if they play any spell, we can just sack the food. Oh, the Goose lived. That second toughness is pretty relevant. So they probably just have Skullcrack up, right? That card might be a bit slow here. Oh, that's actually not true, because what we can do is we can get another cabin. We can play Urza, and then we can sack the Goose for green mana. We can sack a food to the Goose for green mana and cast and have Inscription up here. Not to gain like a lot. We can also just sack a food. Should I just sack a food now? If I sack a food now, I have to tap my Construct. So I think I don't need to. Because remember, the foods have to tap to sacrifice, not like clue tokens. Oh yeah, also Skullcrack is active. Maybe it's time to eat a snack. I just kind of sometimes think that this card is counter next life gain, but it's the whole turn. Inscription would have been gain 2 this turn. Yeah, I mean, gaining 2 is pretty good if your opponent's going to put you to 0. But it's better to crack a food. Yeah. I think my brain does think that this is counter next life gain. We also have Cryptic up. No, we don't. We're one short of Cryptic. And tap your food for mana, then sack to the goose. Oh, I do. Yes, I forgot that you can do that. I cash in the goose. Guess not. Kind of fine if they bolt my Urza. Yeah, you're right. I forgot that you could do that too. Again, I'm still like relatively new to this archetype. This is not an archetype I have a ton of experience playing. I guess it's a bit better to sack here, then play tracker. Fetch for Cabin. Dude, Cabin is so good in this deck. I'm thrilled that I feel like Cabin is amazing here. Cabin has been so good all day today. You gotta learn before you can do. Wise words. Why sack it? So I can get these triggers here, right? It's gonna gain 4 right now. Again, could have tapped food, then use it. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yes. 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 Sorry. So we missed out on the mana. I promise I've learned my lesson now. That would have let me kick Inscription. No, you need another green, right? Or did I have enough green? We're learning. We're all learning together. Yeah, goose taps for green, you're right. Alright. Learning together. Would Arkham's Astrolabe be good in a deck like this? It's a pet card of mine. I don't know. We don't have enough snow synergies, probably. Yeah, probably not enough snow synergies. I think it's better. I guess maybe we could just let that block too. I don't know. Just gaining the life now seemed good. I'm just not sure how scared of this Swift Spear I should be. I'm just gonna pass with all my counter magic up. You can make a food and still have both counters up. I know. I recognize that. I think I'm going to chump with my bird, though. Why tap out of food? Well, we're not really, because we're going to make one with the goose. But we're just, you know, not dying here. What about the rebuke? Alright, we lose to exactly 3 lightning bolts if we sack the clue here. I think that's fine. Alright, don't have another cottage. I think I'm gonna sack the clue instead of spinning Urza immediately. Yeah, cabin, not cottage, sorry. You're right. I think I need a snack. I can feel the fatigue hitting me. I skipped breakfast too. How would I rank the Mystic Sanctuary land cycle? Mystic well, Mystic Sanctuary is probably the best, right? If you're naming the cycle after it. That would be my guess. I don't know. Good question. All of them see play. It feels like Mystic Sanctuary is in a tier, and then all four of them are about in the same tier below it. Well, I heard you were an Urza deck, so here's some more Urzas. The white one puts a counter on a creature. Yeah, I'm just gonna get another construct. Red and white ones see play. The white one saw play in the Heliod Ballista combo deck, and still see some in the Heliod Ballista decks in Modern, but in Pioneer it was like a 3 or 4 of. They're skull cracking my Wrenn and Six. Wow. So I'm just gonna gain life now. Yeah, red sees play in the Polymorph deck. Black sees some play in Standard, and then I've got some Pyre of Heroes decks that use it, actually. Is the blue one any good? Nah, not really. It'd be better if I put the instant or sorcery in the hand, I think. Bet you didn't expect Urza number 3 opponents. Maybe just like put Mox Mishra's Bauble into play. Alright, they concede. Go to game 3. Long game. But I finally had enough. Yeah, the Mystic Sanctuary sees no play in Modern. I mean, why would you play Sanctuary when you have Gingerbread Cabin anyways? What do you think you can cut from Squirrelblade to make it more budget friendly? The expensive cards, probably. Right? Big brain answer. I don't know how else to answer that question. Alright, I think we have to keep this. Putting back Tracker.
What's up? It's me, your friend Aspiring Spike.
Unexistent, thank you for the cheer. I'm glad you guys liked that. I thought it was pretty funny. Alright, if there's a land on top, I'm just gonna hold here. Yeah, there's a Triome on top, which is kind of a weird land there, but I'm just gonna draw it. After you cut the expensive cards, what are good budget replacements? I don't think I want to spend the time to answer that question, but I do hear you. You know what I mean? I get it. The deck's expensive, but the deck would look drastically different to be budget. And I also like just budget by itself doesn't really tell me exactly anything. Wow, they bolt the goose. It's so good for me. Just budget doesn't really tell me anything because I don't know what the budget is. And so like usually like for that, like you're just gonna have to figure it out yourself. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to figure out what your budget is, what you can afford, and interesting options for the cards you need to cut. I don't want to just build a whole budget version of the deck right now. Land would be so good. Well, Wrenn and Six gets a land. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna go Goose, blast this, or potentially Rebuke. Haven't played Toski with Lingering Souls at all? I haven't. I've seen some other people do it though, and it has looked okay. Suspends a Rift Bolt. Just passing. If they Rift Bolt my Goose, we can Inscription it. But then if they have it in the burn spell, it's not that good for us. We only have 2 cards. How's the new PC been? It's been good so far. I haven't been like too many noticeable hiccups or anything. That was gain 3 though. It was gain 6. Is that actually better? It seems better to me. Yeah, and then if they like play a creature, we could actually get all 3 modes of the inscription off. They killed the goose, which is fine, I think. We have Wrenn and Six is going to give us 2 more foods. Oh, I guess if they have had exactly idle on, it could have been a bit awkward. I'm going to cast that. Man, Cabin has been so good all day. It's been so... I'm so happy that this deck worked. I remember, I think I started thinking about this deck on like Sunday or Saturday of last week. Probably Sunday. Because on Sunday, if I'm not playing a tournament, I try to just not think about Magic to manage burnout. But I think I did think of this on Sunday and then decided to spend my time relaxing instead of working on this list. And then I was working on Jeskai Wildfire Monday night, and then I worked on this last night. Yeah, this deck is called Gingerbread because of the card Gingerbread Cabin, which I am gushing over right now. That would be so good. All right, up to 3-1. 4-1 to our last league. Be really cool to 4-1 again. Although to be fair, she's so cute when she does anything. Top card is Wooded Foothills. That's the card I want to draw, so I can play Wrenn and Six on turn 2.
I do. I want to play Wrenn and Six on turn 2.
Welding Jar. Well, this hand's really good against Welding Jar. Yeah, I know they're playing scales, and EE is great against them. I'm also not supposed to play Island because I can't actually fetch Cabin next turn. Probably not that relevant though. So they can Welding Jar either their Worker or the Ozolith. They choose the Ozolith, which makes sense because they get to keep the counters. Do it on their turn, so maybe you don't take 2 if they regen. Maybe, yeah. And then also they maybe can't Ozolith on like main phase. Is the win option beatdown? I've never heard win option before. I don't know if I like it. But yeah. That's the win option. Oh wow. What a recovery. Yeah, so you attack them, and then eventually they die. That's the win option. This last hand is Arcbound Ravager. Which is pretty good. The problem with bouncing Hanger back is they still get counters on the Ozolith, because this leaves the battlefield. I'll get to that Pet Athena, I guess, right now. Who is now even more stretched out than she was when we last visited Athena. head's way over here. Patiently waiting for the stream to be over. So maybe I won't do a late stream today. We'll see. Alright, these are my last two. I'm going to put the box away before I eat them. I'm also going to maybe drink some milk. I don't know. I drew a land. So I kind of like pinging the Ravager, right? Just to make them sack something here. Because we have other EE that we can blow up the Thopters with. Although we don't have to do that this turn. Use the food and the clues before EE. Probably, yeah. We can maybe go tap, bounce the Ozolith, so they don't get these counters. Unless they put the counters on a Thopter, in which case drawing's a bit better. Or maybe we could bounce the Ravager. But if we bounce the Ravager, tapping's not very good. But like now it's just a very easy counter tap. Buried Ruin looking pretty good though. What happened to the Kethis combo deck? I don't know. Did anything happen to it? Was it ever good? Will we ever know? Let's draw a card. I'd love to find an Urza. I'm gonna keep my cabins in the deck before because I plan on explosivesing. Wish granted. Very cool. Thank you, Urza. So I'm going to go Engineered Explosives on 0. Urza. And in response to the Thopter token, I'm going to go sack my clues. Or at least sack some of them. Maybe just 2 clues. Or just 1 clue here. Because we're about to get as many clues as we can ever afford to use. I know it kills my clues, but which is why I'm responding. But we're about to get 2 more, so I think it's fine. They do get to make the Ravager huge, but they've got no cards in their hand. We can chump block it if they don't. Yeah, I know we're dead to Ballista. I don't think we can play around it though. And we can also maybe find a counter spell. We also do get to attack with the tracker. So it's probably good to at least sack 1 clue before we attack with tracker. You could just not pop the E and chill. But then we lose the construct. I think we just have to. Then like our clues are way worse. Okay, Galvanic Blast actually means we beat Ballista now, so it's good. So I guess with Blast up, I probably want to sack the other clue. To get him for 1 more point of damage. We've had a really good draw this game. Kind of crazy that Scales is still in it. maybe speaks to the strength of the Scales deck. Although I did just lose Metalcraft. But Emry was also a good draw. This allows me to play explosives next turn. And we still have a Blast up for a 2/2 Ballista, so it should be fine. Am I jumping with my Construct or the Goose? Probably just the Goose. Or the weakness of our deck? I don't think so. I feel like we've had really powerful turns like every turn of this game. I wouldn't say that like my opponent still being in it is a sign that our deck is bad. I guess if I jump with the Goose, I can't blast. But I'll just block. I think I'll just block with the Goose, then blast the Scrapyard Recombiner. Then we get to flashback explosives on 2. Then I guess the Ozolith is still a problem, huh? Oh, they're not even attacking. Do you have a moment I've been significantly tilted playing MTG? I hope not. Maybe. I don't really like to be tilted. I'll try not to be. Yeah, deck tech for Squee. Buggy Witchy Food. So I played Bug last night. Adding Cat Oven is pretty interesting, especially with Emry to mill over, and like that is a good way to make Emry better. Which is something that a lot of people have been talking about with this list, is how can we make Emry just a little bit better, like good enough to justify 4 copies. One thing is I think you're playing too few lands. In Sultai, I was playing 24 lands, and like maybe you can get away with 23, but I'm playing 22 in Temur here with 4 Wrenn and Six. So I think that's one note I have, is that you're too light on lands, I think. So you can maybe, I don't know, maybe you do have to go down to like 3 Emry, 2 star, and play 2 more, or 1 star, play 2 more lands. The stars are less needed though if you have the ovens, which is interesting. But I think you need at least 23 lands. Oh, interesting. They kept the Scrapyard Recombiner. So I guess I'm just going to kill the Ozolith then. Right? What does this even do? Without the Ozolith? Yeah, just nothing. Maybe just pass it back. It finds Ravager. I mean, Ravager is not good on this board. Ravager doesn't get to get these 12 counters. And if it sacks itself to find Ravager, that's totally fine. Oh, and Ravager is also not even a construct. It has to find Ballista or Hangerback Walker. Didn't I have lethal? I don't think so. My opponent has a 12/12 Walker. If I sack EE on 3, I kill my Emry and my Tracker as well, so that also seems like it hurts my chances to have lethal. Amber makes Emry better, but Amber is not so good. Yeah, I think you can play the first. You can play the first Amber, but it's maybe not even good to play. If you're cat ovening, maybe Trail of Crumbs is good enough. Maybe in the sideboard. Sick rip. Now we lose. Now they just sack this, get Ballista. Well, we can look for a Metallic Rebuke or a Cryptic, I guess. We have 2 looks. Or Galvanic Blast. Oh, my opponent doesn't see the line. Oh my gosh, what a punt. They're supposed to sack this to itself, then get Ballista and try to kill me. That was a freebie. Food saves me? I don't know. I guess, but I mean, the Ballista is still terrible for me. But you're right, I guess we're not just dead. They just kill my creatures, maybe. I mean, like, what is my opponent doing instead? They're gonna sack the Ozolith in response to me using engineered explosives, I guess. It's kind of interesting. But what if I draw another copy of explosives? Using explosives on 3, killing my tracker and my Emry does kind of stink. So I guess what I can do is I can attack like this, and if they don't block the tracker, or if they block the tracker, we can eat both foods and then ping the Scrapyard Recombiner. Can't we put it on 0 for Ballista? Maybe that's better. I think I like this attack though. Just starting off with this attack, seeing what my opponent does. They're dead to another Wrenn and Six if they don't block this. Which we can maybe dig for. Or Galvanic Blast, but I only have one more blast because this is game 1. Been a long game 1. So yeah, I probably just want to go EE on 0, sacrifice it, then EE on 3, sacrifice it, right? Or is it better to EE on 3 first? I think so. Blue, red, green. Sorry, not 0, EE on 1. Sorry, not 1, not 0. And then we can ping 2 turns in a row with Wrenn. Or ping an attack. I've already attacked this turn. I guess I should have attacked me with the Urza. I don't know. This should win. This should win. My opponent can't really get out of this. We also have Rebuke up, I think. 1, tap, tap, Goose. I guess we don't quite have Rebuke up. Oh, no, we do. Because you can tap the explosives to itself. I don't really know what my opponent's thinking about so hard. I know that they have Buried Ruin up. But like, can't they just like yield till end of turn? Maybe they're just trying to understand what's going on. Urza's still one hell of a Magic card. Yeah. So we either play Goose plus Rebuke or Goose plus Emry. It's probably Goose plus Rebuke, just because they're dead to their Wrenn ping next turn. They can sack a core to gain life. I guess, yeah. I don't know. I think they should just like... They should probably just be conceding, right? The clock is super relevant. This is game 1. They're down to 13 minutes. Oh no, I forgot to ping. Damn it. My opponent took so long. I guess that's the value. Yeah. Whoops. Should be fine though. Couldn't they have tutored Ballista like 2 turns and killed me? Yeah. Well, my opponent just took so long, I just totally forgot what I was even doing. But, I mean, Rebuke should stop. It's very unlikely that they can play 2 relevant plays this turn, right? We should just be able to Rebuke their Ballista now, then attack them and ping them. Maybe I'll forget to ping again. You'll 1/4, kill ya. Long and difficult game 1, but we got there. Gonna bring in the Blast and the Needles. Probably cutting like 4th Rebuke, Mox Amber, and the Stars. I think if you bring in the Needles, you can cut the Stars. Yeah, 2 turns ago, my opponent could have sacked the Recombiner to itself to get Ballista, put the counters on the Ozolith, play the Ballista, put all these counters on Ballista, and then I think they were like short of actually killing me because I had the food tokens, but they could have just killed like Urza and Tracker and still had a big Ballista. What Gingerbread land card does. So Gingerbread land card is called Gingerbread Cabin, and it's a forest, so it's fetchable with Windswept Heath, Wooded Foothills, Misty Rainforest, which is really nice. And it enters untapped and only if you control 3 or more other forests, and when it enters untapped, you create a food token, which is a artifact token that says you can spend 2 mana, tap it, and gain 3 life. And so being able to play Urza on turn 4 with Gingerbread Cabin gives you an extra mana, which is really relevant. It gives you more food tokens just for your Gilded Geese, which is pretty nice. The life gain is pretty relevant in this format too. It could also make Emry and Rebuke cost less. Can turn on Metalcraft for Galvanic Blast. Just like giving you an artifact. It's an artifact land. And artifact lands, I guess, are broken. but you know, being an actual unique permanent is pretty important too. So that's a bit disingenuous to say, I guess. I'm gonna keep this. Obviously, we're light on interaction, but this hand, it can be very explosive. Three is not too much. Honestly, I kind of want to play 4. Needle can stop Goose from making food, but not from tapping to make mana. Because Needle only stops mana abilities. They name engineered explosives. That's probably wise. So I'm not sure. I think this was a pretty straightforward turn. But so next turn we can play Urza, but we don't have enough mana to get Cottage or Cabin. So maybe it's just better to play a Tracker and pass. Could be better to sack a food, play Tracker. Yeah, I kind of want to play Urza next turn. So do I want to sack a food or not? I think so. I think I'd rather have 1 clue, 1 food here. Because clues are a bit better to tap to Urza, since you can sacrifice them while they're tapped, but you can't with the foods. And we also fetch and get a food next turn, of course. Why not play Tracker turn 2, Fear of Dismember? Well, if we play Tracker turn 2, we don't have the option to play Urza on turn 3, because we've used our only food. Opponent also kept a Stinker. Get another food. Game is pretty over. Let's go ahead and sack one of our clues. This game's super over. The Tireless Tracker actually makes mana next turn, which is always really cool. Should probably be pressing W for this. My artifact creature is bigger than yours, opponent. Oh, that's a draw step. We get 4 clues here. And a food. Attack with the Tracker and the Construct. And Urza? I guess Urza too. Opponent takes it. Every clue we sack, I'm just gonna pass the Cryptic up. Every clue we sack shrinks the Construct by 1 and grows the Tracker by 1, so I don't really see any points. I'm just gonna hold a Cryptic and win the game. We could, if we were, you know, like not so unreasonably ahead, start sacking clues and looking for a Galvanic Blast or a Wrenn and Six to kill here, but we just don't need to do anything because Cryptic's gonna win the game. I mean, we probably don't even need the Cryptic. Goose and win. Oh, I did miss lethal. Sorry, yeah, I did miss lethal. You're right, we could have goosed. Whatever, right? Live view of my opponent, trying to figure out how they're going to come back from this. Yeah, back-to-back 4-1s, especially with like the kind of the shaky sideboard, admittedly. 3-2, 3-2, 4-1, 4-1. I'm liking this deck a lot. It's 11 and 4 on the day.